Hi, my name is BJ Paschal. I'm the head coach and athletic director at Des Arc High School. This is my first year to be the head coach here at Des Arc. I've been on staff here for 4 years. The previous 3 years, I was the defensive coordinator. This year, it was a privilege to get to be the head coach and to coach really a group of kids that played with unbelievable effort and made me look like a good coach. DJ and the ARFCA board asked us to do this presentation this year, and I certainly feel um, unqualified to do this because most of you guys know more ball than I even have thought about knowing. So take this for what it's worth. I hope that maybe it'll help a little bit. But basically, I'm just going to talk to you about our kids, about our situation here at Des Arc, and what we were able to do this year. So this year, just like most years at a small 2A school, we don't have a ton of athletes. Most of the year we played with around 26 kids. After we moved the ninth graders up, toward the end of the year, we had about 32. But the kids we had, just the general makeup, for the most part, they were small and not real fast. So not a great combination. But the one thing that they do have and that Des Arc kids have had for a long time is that they work hard and they play hard. And that we can coach and we can certainly do something with that. So I'm going to talk about just using and maximizing the potential of undersized athletes. I'll have one of my other coaches. He's going to talk here in just a bit, and we'll just talk to you kind of about what we did this year here at Des Arc. So first, let me introduce you to our staff. This is the best way that I knew to do that. So again, my name is BJ. I'm the head coach here. I called the defense this year. This is my fourth season here, fourth season calling the defense here at Des Arc. Nick Smith, you'll see him here in just a bit. He's our offensive coordinator. This was his first year here with us here at Des Arc. Did a phenomenal job calling our offense. We averaged over 40 points a game this year and couldn't be prouder of what he was able to do with our offense this year. Trent Whiting, he coached our wide receivers and defensive backs this year. Trent's from Des Arc, so he knows the kids. He knows the situation. And this was his second year on staff. Zach Calhoun, he did our special teams and also coached offensive and defensive line. Very proud of Zach, what he was able to do. Our offensive and defensive lines both played phenomenal this year, and in large part because of the work that he was able to do with them. Colton Goodman, he was a registered volunteer with us this year. He coached offensive line. He coached linebackers. He's also from Des Arc. He's going to college to be a coach. And so he was a huge help for us this year. And again, he was a coach just like the rest of us, as far as even though he was technically a registered volunteer. Very proud of this staff, very proud of all these guys. They made my job a lot easier this year by just being great coaches and great mentors for the kids. So let's talk a little bit about our team this year. Again, I said it earlier, very undersized. We had one player on the team that weighed over 200 pounds. Tiny group of kids. And, tiny group of kids, but they played hard. And we'll talk about that in a second. Our starting offensive line averaged about 180 pounds. Our linebackers averaged about 150 pounds. Our one tech, he was a junior this year, and he has started for us since his ninth grade year. Weighs about 170 pounds. We had four athletes on the team that ran under a 5 flat 40. So not only were we small, we're also not the quickest team. And here's a picture of our team. You can certainly tell by the picture we're not a huge group of kids. Our kids aren't big kids, but when you talk about effort and you talk about the fight that they had, I think they were unmatched from most athletes that I've been around. So for us, coming into a situation when you have small athletes and you have kids that may not be able to mash people or push people around, or maybe you don't have a quarterback that can throw the ball 40, 50 yards down the field, you have to have a system that fits your athletes. We don't want to ask a kid to do something that we don't think they can do. Not only is that going to set them up for failure, it's going to set us up for failure in the long run. So we want to understand our kids, understand what they are capable of doing, understand where they're gifted, where they're not gifted. And we want to make sure that what we're doing or what we're asking them to do is something they can actually do. Offensively, We are a flex team mixed in with a little bit of wing T, mostly flex. And the old adage, I like it. And Nick will talk more here in just a bit about what we've done offensively. If you can't block them, read them. And for us, being a small offensive line, being a small group of kids, we didn't want to ask our guys to, go out and try to move people too much. So we did a lot of reading. Defensively, we base out of a 4-2-5, but we're very multiple, and that's what I'm going to talk about here in just a bit. Is that we want to, since we're a small school, small kids, not very many reserves to put in the game. We want to make sure that our players can play more than one position. They're, to me, the definition of hybrid players, and that way we can adjust what we're doing defensively based on what the offense is doing without having to sub people on and off the field. And I'll get into that here in just a bit. But at the end of the day, we all know this. Coaches, we all know this. Effort wins more than scheme. We tell our kids, tell them every day that, I can be the best coach in the world, but if you're not going to work hard, if you're not going to play hard, it doesn't matter. Or I could be the worst coach in the world, and if you play hard, if you do your job, if you play with effort, then we're going to win a lot of ball games. And to me, that is what has set Des Arc apart for a while. It's what set us apart this year. Is that our kids worked hard. They played fast football. They play with an attitude and a swagger, and they play tough man football. And to me, tough man football is, hey, understanding going into the game, I'm not coming off the field until the final horn rings. I'm playing offense. I'm playing defense. I'm playing special teams. At a small school like Des Arc, that's just the way it is. And our kids understand that, and they have to be ready to do that. And then this last point here, players have to be okay with failure. I don't like coaching scared players who are constantly on edge, that if they mess up, I'm going to hammer them or anything like that. We want our kids to have the freedom to play fast and to be okay with failure, to correct failure, but to be okay with failure. And to me, that allows kids to play fast. That allows them to play with more effort when they're not having to think as much. And that's one of the keys here in our program. So defensively, like I said, we base out of the 4-2-5. We're going to have 4 players on the field at all times that can put their hand in the dirt. And I know generally speaking, that's pretty obvious with 4-2-5. But, and I don't care, like I said, our starting one technique weighed 170 pounds, but that is a kid that's going to put his hand in the dirt. He's going to have to be able to do that. We're going to have 2 true linebackers on the field, and we're going to have two guys on the field that can play linebacker or DB, and then 3 true what you would call secondary players. For us, and I've said this just a second ago, at small schools with limited personnel, you got to be able to make adjustments with the same personnel on the field. It's difficult to change personnel or change people out when you're working with a limited number of people. So for us in our scheme, and you'll see it in just a bit, our Rover, our Evil, and our Sam have to be able to play multiple positions so that we can adjust the way that to offensive formations. So this is just our base defense. Again, we're a 4-2-5. We base out of a cover 4 system. We're either going to run 2 read or we're going to run just straight cover 4. We, generally speaking, we're going to give anything underneath to a team that wants to throw the ball, but we're going to try to contain, not let anything get behind us. We're going to try to stop the run. That's what we're built to do. So just out of our base defense, our Rover, we're going to be too high. Our wheel linebacker's always going to kind of be on an island. We do the best we can to not put him to the field. And I'll show you a clip or 2 here of situations where we've just been in our base defense. This was 2 years ago against England. They were one of the teams that threw the ball on us more than most. In our league, we're mostly playing teams that are going to run the ball. And here in just a second, it should highlight it. Yeah, that's our Rover. That's one of our main adjusters when we're playing a spread team. He's going to be up or down here. Since we're just playing our base defense, he's going to stay up. So that's an easy call for me from the sideline. I'm just going to tell him base, and he knows he's staying up. And we're playing some type of cover 4. there. This next clip, this is this year against Fordyce, and our filmer kind of zoomed in a little tight, but we're in our base defense here. You can see there's no outside linebacker to the weak side. And again, we're going to keep him to the boundary as much as we can. Same thing here, next clip. We'll keep that rover up on our base defense, and we'll keep our will linebacker to the boundary as much as we can. We will go into a 3-front, our Okie front. When we do this, this isn't written up exactly the way we do it, but it's close. Our Evil, who was our weak side defensive end here, he's going to bump to an inside weak side backer, and we're going to split that will linebacker out. Again, coverage rules really don't change. If we leave our will linebacker as the outside backer, he knows if we call Callie, which is our cover 2, or is our 2 read, or if we call Dollar, our cover 4, his coverages are going to be the same. Most of the time, if we're in an odd front, if we're in an Okie front, it's because we want to send some pressure from somewhere, and we also want to plug some holes, maybe in the shallow middle of our defense. So I want to add an extra backer there. And you'll see. So now, let me go back just a little bit. Just talking about hybrid players. Now I'm asking my Evil, my weak side defensive end, to play inside linebacker. And this is this year against McCrory. They had a really good, still have, he'll be a senior this year, a really good quarterback that runs a scramble drill just about as good as any of them. And we knew we needed to be able to widen those backers out. So that's 55. He was our weak side defensive end. We've bumped him back. We've gone to an odd front. And it's just as simple as, just calling Okie and to get in that. And like I said, most of the time, if I'm in an Okie front, or if we're in an Okie front, we're going to bring pressure. So we're really still playing a 4-front. But this, again, here, we bring pressure from the weak side. Pretty safe call to bring that pressure from the weak side. But keeping the same personnel on the field. And in the game, we're going to alternate between a 4-front and a 3-front. And we might be in a 5-front. We're going to do different things. This is against Hazen this year. Again, a quarterback that could throw the ball really well, wasn't quite as mobile as the quarterback was from McCrory, but we're in our Okie front here. Again, that's 55 that's highlighted. He was our weak side defensive end. Now he's playing inside backer. Same kid, haven't had to change personnel, but we have gone from a 4-front to a 3-front in the same game with the same kids on the field. Again, we're bringing weak side pressure, and it worked out for us here. Now this kid, he actually threw on us quite a bit this night. We were lucky to be able to win the game. Kids played really hard, but he's a good quarterback. So that's I got one more Okie clip here. We'll also, teams know that I like to bring, if we play somebody for long enough or even within the game, they'll start picking up on the fact that, okay, they're blitzing their outside backer. So they'll start throwing slants behind it. They'll start doing things behind it. I've got the kid highlighted here. That's our weak side defensive end. He's now playing inside backer. And you can tell pre-snap, I'm bringing weak side pressure. The outside backers walk down, but we would make a call. So that's our will linebacker. Our blitz call is warrior for him. But we would make a call warrior bait. We could bait anything. And so he's going to show blitz. But on the snap, he's going to back up and try to pick off anything that's thrown shallow, which he does that up top. They don't throw anything shallow there. But if they were to, we felt like we were in good position there to pick that up. This is this year against Fordyce in the state championship game. That's 55 again. He's our weak side defensive end. He's playing inside linebacker. And whenever they got into some of their spread stuff, I think this doesn't have the down and distance on us, but I think that this was a 3rd and long situation. So we got into our Okie package, and I brought weak side pressure. And we were just lucky that, he kind of overthrew that ball a little bit. So that's one way that we're able to adjust our defensive front. with keeping the same personnel on the field. Again, here's our base look. And all we've done essentially is we've widened the wheel linebacker. We'll walk back to evil, and then we'll put these guys head up in zeros and fours. And that's what it looks like. Again, that's not written up exactly the way I just said it, but I think you get the idea. The next adjustment that we will make defensively with keeping the same personnel on the field, if we're playing 20 personnel, 2 backs, 21 personnel, a lot of times we'll be in what we call smoke. And that is where we stay in our base forefront, but now we're going to roll to a 4-4. We'll walk this weak side safety down. We call him our rover. We'll walk him down to an outside backer. And again, it's as simple as us just calling smoke and getting him into that position. Got a few clips from the year of us being in smoke. This is against Clarendon this year. This was a big game for us. This was our conference championship game. It was our conference championship game. Both of us were undefeated in conference. It was the last game of the regular season. But the kid that's highlighted there, he's a 5'5", 5'6" max. Weighs 140 pounds soaking wet. He's a safety. But we rolled him down to an outside backer here. So we're in a 4-4. In this situation, we expected run, and we got run. And we were able to make a stop there. Here it is again. Now this is a little bit different. You can kind of see, and this was 2 years ago against Bauxite. Bauxite, much bigger than us, 4A school. We're a 2A school. So, it was a tough game for us. And in this game, we did a little bit of moving. Even though they're 20 personnel, I knew I wanted us to be in smoke, but we showed it late. So for us, it's a call. Our will linebacker, you'll see him bump in, number 8. He bumps in, and we bump this weak side defensive end out. We make that a gap call. We're just exchanging gaps. Now the defensive end is going from a B gap guy to a C gap guy, and the backer is now going from C gap to B gap. But we're also walking down at the same time our safety. So this is our smoke. We're showing it late. It's just another thing that we can do. Just to another look that we can give offenses to try to do something a little bit different. Again, with the same personnel on the field. I don't have the luxury of taking a safety off the field, running in and out a backer. So we just do multiple things with the same guys on the field. Again, Bauxite was really good this year. Here's the end zone copy of the same thing. You can see the exchange there between the defensive end and the backer. He's number 8 now. He's just yelling at him. He's telling him to gap, 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 gap. He jumps out. 8 jumps in. They're just exchanging gaps. All right, the next thing we do, again, like I said, this is a run-heavy league. And so more times than not, we're going to have to ask somebody else to walk down the line of scrimmage. For us, we call this slide. We're going to move our strong side 3 tech to a 1. We're going to get into an eagle front. We're going to get in a 1-5-9 to the strength, 3-5, or in what you're seeing here, this is 12 personnel, so it's 3-7, but 3-5 if there's no tight end to the weak side. And again, this is as simple as this Sam linebacker who was up. Now I'm just walking him down, so he's got to know and be able to play outside backer. And now he's going to have to be able to play an on technique and be able to get his hands on a tight end. So, you got to train these guys to be able to do both rather than subbing them out because, again, frankly, for us at our level, we don't have the kids to sub out. So the kids on the field have to be able to do both things. Again, this is from Clarendon this year. That's our all-state quarterback that has now walked down to play a 9 technique. So this kid, he's a very tough kid. He's going to play at SAU. He was able to do that. He had the toughness to be able to go down, play a 9 technique. He could also play in space very well for us. He was just a great high school football player. So here, this is for us, this is slide. He's walked down, and he ends up making the tackle. He's in perfect position there. Go back and look at that one more time. Perfect position to make the tackle. And like I said, for us, the call is just from base to slide. And he walks down, squeezes everything tight, and he makes the tackle. All right, last thing I'm going to show you here defensively that we do just to put our kids in position to succeed. Then the last call is smoke slide. So that's just a combination of the last two things I've shown you. We'll get in slide. We'll walk that same linebacker down. We'll also be in smoke. We'll take that rover, make him an outside linebacker. So smoke slide will just put us in a 5-3 essentially. And this is against Hazen this year. We're in smoke slide. You can see our Sam linebackers now walk down tight. That is our safety who is rolled down to an outside backer position. And that safety outside backer hybrid guy is able to get in on that tackle. All right, next one here. This is against Fordyce again in the state championship game this year. This is smoke slide. Now we had to do in the state championship game. We lost our one of our starting defensive ends in the semifinal game against Junction. He tore his ACL. Our quarterback in the quarterfinal game against Bigelow dislocated his elbow, and so he was very limited on what he could do defensively. So we had to kind of change some of the things that we were doing. And the personnel and how we were able to do it. The kids still got it and they did fine. But now, instead of where that would be our Sam linebacker, who was our quarterback, we had to take him off the field. His elbow couldn't hold up playing both ways the whole game. So now we've walked down our Mike backer, and this is the guy that's essentially replacing him. And this is our safety number 2 who's walked down. So we're in smoke slide here. We just had to change up who was walking down a little bit. And that walk down backer, 52, on the edge there, he ends up making the tackle or being in on the tackle. So that's, just quickly going through it. And, we could probably talk through things for a while to get into more specifics. But generally speaking, defensively, we're very simple. We're 4-2-5, but we can adjust. We can get into a 3 front. We can get to a 5 front, and it's just as simple as a call. Again, we believe that you have to put kids in a position to succeed, and you can't be stagnant on defense and just teach them one position at this level because we can't sub in and sub out. They have to be able to play it all. Now that runs into a whole nother list of problems of finding the practice time to teach them both positions and how can they really get good at both positions. And, that's a talk for another time, but that's what we believe that we have to do here at Des Arc to be successful with that. All right, now I want to introduce Nick Smith. He's our offensive coordinator. Again, he'll talk a little bit about himself, but this is his first year here in Des Arc, and I can't speak highly enough of Nick and the job that he did this year. So here's Nick.
Hey, coaches. Like Coach Paschal said, my name is Nick Smith. I'm the offensive coordinator here at Des Arc. This is my first year here. I want to thank him for giving me this opportunity to speak with you guys and the opportunity to come to Des Arc. It was a blessing for him to give me a call to come to Des Arc, and I thank him every day for giving me this opportunity and being part of special community, special program. All around, Des Arc is a very special place, and I'm extremely excited to be here. So I want to thank him for giving me this opportunity. Like Coach said, we're a flex bone offense with a little wing T mixers in there. And I got my experience in the flex bone my first year coaching in 2015. I got a job opportunity at Lone Oak High School. And there was my first day there, we had a meeting with a man named Kenny Wheaton. And a lot of you guys know that name. He's one of the godfathers of flexbone triple option. not only in Arkansas, but across the nation. And he does an excellent job. He's a consultant offensive play caller with Harding University. And if you've done any research or seen anything on social medias or know anything in the Division II ranks, you know that Harding offense is a weapon, and they are a force to be reckoned with. So I would be doing this presentation disservice if I didn't mention Kenny Wheaton, and big thanks to him. Without his knowledge of the flex bone and triple option, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I wanted to make sure and mention him. So flex bone with wing tee mixers, we knew coming in that there had been some wing tee plays that had been successful in Desart for a very long time. And we wanted to keep those mixers intact in the offense, and the kids knew them from the 7th grade, and they'd been very successful plays. So we wanted to keep them within our offense. We are a no huddle team. We use risk coaches to relay the play in. Like the slide says, that allows us to establish the pace. We can go as fast as we want, or we can go as slow as we want. Now, like Coach said, we have a lot of kids going both ways, probably about 9 or 10 kids going both ways. So there wasn't a lot of the time we wanted to go pretty slow. The faster we went, that kind of bogged our kids down. So we got into a pretty consistent pace, which was on the slower side. But there were times that we wanted to get to the line of scrimmage, set up some kind of check with me system, a freeze or a dead call, and they knew they could look over here and to the sideline and they could get a play. Like it says there, it gives us the ability to freeze the defense, and then gives us the best look at the defense pre-snap. And that's what we wanted to do as a triple option team, as a flex bone team. We want to make sure we get the best look at the defense first before we attack them. Different ways that we can manipulate the defense is through our formations, and then through our tag system on our plays. We have our base plays in the triple option, big 5. Some people call it big 6. We do have a 6 that was pretty popular this year, but we have the base plays, and then we have a tag system that if one guy's giving us an issue or the defense is giving us a certain look, we can tag that base play, and it allows us to switch 1 to 2 responsibilities. To the defense, it looks the same, but to us, we know that it changes 1 or 2 people's responsibilities. So like Coach said, this is a presentation on maximizing potential of undersized athletes. And this kind of breaks down what we look for in our offensive line. And these statistics are in the range of what our guys were this year. So our tackles range from 5'9" to 5'10", and they averaged about 170 pounds. And some of the things that we look for in our guys is they must be able to move and get to the 2nd and 3rd level in multiple ways. So the example there you see is Veer outside release. And when we veer, obviously, a lot of you coaches have experience in some kind of option. And so that's our veer release to the inside of the defense, to the interior. And then an outside release is outside. And if we're veering or outside releasing, we got to make sure we get to the 2nd level. And if nobody's there at the 2nd level, then they keep climbing to the 3rd level. They don't stop. They don't get eyes to the backside. We want guys downfield. We want running because they know behind them is an explosive play, and they've got to get downfield to help block. Our guards, they range from 5'8" to 5'10". One guy was 5'8". I think the other one was 5'10". They're going to range from 170 to 180. Our guards are our most physical guys up front. I call them road graders. They've got to be able to base one-on-one. And like I have here, they have to win or get a stalemate for 1 to 2 seconds. That's all we're looking for. With us being undersized, we're not looking to dominate and put those guys on their back every single play. We can't afford that. We don't have those types of kids. So all we're telling them to do is to win. And if we do win, it's got to be for 1 to 2 seconds. or a stalemate for 1 to 2 seconds. That's all we're looking for. The speed of our offense, the pace of it is so fast. It's going to be by the defense. We're going to be past the defense after that 1 to 2 seconds. We better be if we're going at the pace that we want to. They also have to veer on certain double options, certain triple options. They need to veer to the second level. And through our technique, we can teach them how to do that. Our center, he was about 5'11", 200 pounds. He was our biggest lineman that we had in the group this year. That our center needs to be the smartest lineman that we have. And I think our center this year was the smartest lineman that we have. Very smart kid, very bright kid. And at the center position, you have to be able to rip and run to the second, third level. And through film and through study throughout the year, we slowly got better throughout the year doing all of these things. It was just kind of a progression, week to week. With this year being a special year, with COVID and being out, and we didn't quite know what we had. Coach gave me the call, I think in July, and then it was hit the ground running. We didn't have we didn't have spring, we didn't have team camps, we didn't have 7-on-7s. So we were fast and furious trying to get all this stuff in. And so I think that really helped us throughout the year was we were fast and furious at the beginning, and I was a little uncomfortable with it at first. But getting in and getting our feet wet and really diving in, and I'm a guy that likes to go at a slower pace and make sure the kids understand it. But because we were so fast and furious, I think that set us up for the season. We literally got better each week, all the way until week 15. I think we peaked at week 15 with our fundamentals, with how our alignment progressed. And our center did a great job at the end of the year, really ripping and really running and getting to the second level. So our backs and receivers, our quarterback, we had, like Coach Paschal said, we had a great one this year. Great football player, great kid, great leader for our team. And he really defined the success of our team throughout the year. And the triple option, the quarterback, you want him to be your smartest, your best, your most consistent football player on the team. And I'll go through kind of the triple option scheme as a whole, but being consistent every day through our endo drills, through our option drill, half line, team, whatever it is, being the most consistent is going to set yourself up to be very successful in this offense. I like to consider the quarterback as the card dealer. You've got a bunch of players around you, whether it be the fullback, slots, receivers, and even yourself. Be the card dealer. Deal out those cards when you get the right look. Deal it to them and let them go be football players. And I thought Luke, our quarterback this year, did an excellent job of that. Once again, he got stronger throughout the year, being consistent, being that card dealer of whatever the defense gives you, take advantage of it. I thought he did a great job and progressively got better throughout the year. We have an option count that decides which player is going to be dive, which player is going to be pitch, and which player is going to be the force. And we got some junk defenses this year. And for him to be able to identify those and make sure we're on the right track and make sure that we know who we were reading for dive, who we were pitching, who the slot needed to block, the force player. He knew that. He's a coach out there. We're always talking ball, and he understands that, and that really helped us out tremendously on the field to have him there. Our B-back or fullback, what we're looking for is physically and mentally strong. And that quote there, I would be tackled every play. Sometimes kids can physically take that. In the past, when I was at Lone Oak, we had kids that could physically take it. But mentally, after a while, it started to wear down. This year, we had 2 kids that were both physically and mentally strong, could mentally take getting tackled every single play. And that's something that in a flex bone and triple option offense, that dive back has to physically and mentally know that I will be tackled every play. And we had, like I said, we had 2. Our kid that started at B-back at the beginning of the year broke his collarbone week 5. And then he's a junior. And then we had a sophomore step in and stepped in stride for stride with with our kid that started the year. And we didn't skip a beat, didn't miss a beat. And they were both, they met these qualifications. Speed is not necessary, but it is definitely a plus. Once you break out and get out into the open field, having some kind of speed. And they were both, the kid that finished the year, we clocked him at about a 4.98 40. And then Brock, who started the year, he was probably roughly a 5 flat to a 5.1 40. Definitely not blazing. It's about average for our team. But once they dig into the open field, they were very good with football. And then ball security. You guys know, all you coaches know that ball security should be the number one thing for an offense, number one factor. And both these guys did a great job at fullback with ball security. We want to make sure and have double cover. We call it double cover with both arms. We're double covered through the second level. And they did a great job with that this year, ball security. We did fumble, but ball security wasn't a big issue for us. Our A-backs are slots. These are your dudes. These are your playmakers. These are your most explosive guys. For us, they were our two fastest. Our quarterback was probably, with those two slots, our three fastest. But our two slots were our two fastest football players. Once again, they necessarily don't have to be your fastest, but it does help. So they need to be your most explosive. They're your playmakers. When the ball is pitched, get to their hands on the highway. I call the highway a certain part of the field. After we get a pitch read, they're downhill or to the sideline, depending on the play. And they're gaining yards, getting explosive yards. But on the flip side of that, our success lies in your selfishness. So you may be the guy when we call triple to you, getting that pitch. But that front side slot's the guy that's laying out, blocking for you to be successful. So that's kind of the kicker is we may call triple to your side and you're the pitch man, but that next time we call triple to the other side. Now you're blocking for your teammate, for your brother who's going to get the pitch, possibly. So making sure that selflessness is key to the slots, because sometimes you will have an explosive kid that may not enjoy blocking too much. But our two slots, our two starters this year, did an excellent job blocking. Very selfless individuals, and it showed with our success throughout the year. Not the most glorified position in the flex bone, but our wide receivers. Speaking of selflessness, these guys need to be your most selfless. I know a lot of people call them wide tackles instead of wide receivers. We had two guys this year that were both 6 foot, which is a plus for us when we threw the ball. Long, lanky kids that could go up and get the football when we did throw it. They must be sufficient blockers, and that's not a new idea in the flex bone. Our two guys did an excellent job this year of blocking. They've worked their tail off. Big effort guys. Yeah, they missed some blocks, but their effort was there, and we're very proud of that. Now, when we do throw the ball, it will be explosive, and I think they reap the benefits of that because their effort was excellent blocking on when we run our zone dive or when we run our triple. When it came the time to throw the ball in certain situations, they sold out to block, and now they're just they're open. Big time open once their number was called for us to throw the ball. Okay, so now we're going to get into a little bit of scheme as an overall offense of what we look for. Our offense, Desark Eagle offense in the flex bone is built off of physicality. It's every day. We're reminding them that they will be physical. And on the flip side of that, we have always told them you will be undersized. So you have no choice but to be physical. We can't be finesse guys. We can't be handsy. We can't be fast feet. We got to go at them. We got to go directly at their chest and make sure that we set that physicality, set that tone. I always like to say playing with your hand in the dirt and a flat back makes up for a lot of deficiencies. And these guys were We weren't perfect every time on our responsibilities up front, but because they come out low with our stance and our weight forward, butt up in the air, old school, put a marble on the butt, rolls down to the back of the head, and come out hard. It makes up for if we miss an assignment because we're going so fast and we're being so physical. We keep things simple. We have simple schemes that allow us to be more physical instead of think. Like Coach Paschal said, if we defensively keeping it simple, we don't have to think. Same thing on offense. I mean, we're mirror images, our offense and our defense. We want to make sure that we have simple schemes and a limited number of schemes. We don't want to carry too many schemes to confuse kids. We want to keep our schemes simple, which I thought we did a great job of this year, making sure that multiple schemes through the tag system up front, 4 of the 5 is the same, but for one guy it changes. And we keep that simple. To the defense, it may look different, but to our guys up front, they know it's the same thing. So simple schemes allow us to be more physical instead of think. Up front, we have tracks, not specific players. They're not looking for that backside safety coming across the field. And if he's not there, they're stopping and looking around, trying to find somebody to block. We tell them after they have, they have certain responsibilities up front, their technique that we teach them fundamentals. And after they either veer, base, outside release, whatever we have them doing, they have a certain track that they stay on. And I always use the adage, if somebody crosses over a railroad track when the train's coming, they get hit. So that's what we teach them is we want to get on our track. We want to get downfield as fast as we can, get out there and block for our skill guys down the field. Someone crosses my track, I attack. It's very simple. That's as easy as we can put it. After we veer, we get vertical, get on our track. Somebody crosses it, we attack them. Nothing groundbreaking there. So our triple option scheme as a whole, we look at every skill that our guys need that encompasses our offense. And like I said, we try and keep it simple. So we narrow it down, on our run game up front, our guys may need to know 4 skills. And so they practice those every single day, maybe not every day, every week we will cover those skills. Some we need more than others throughout the week. And we sit down and we evaluate that in staff meeting after practice. Hey, we didn't look good basing today. Let's get in the shoots. Let's work on one-on-ones. Let's make sure we get that lined out tomorrow. We have those skills narrowed down to about 4 to 5 skills that they need, and we rep those over and over and over. This is a quote straight from Kenny. I want to train you, not trick you. So we're training our guys every single day, train them. We go drills with our quarterback and I tell them, okay, you're going to give the ball right here. And through rep after rep after rep after rep, they start to figure that out, see what it feels like. Okay, now we're going to work on dipping. So that's when number 1 dive key, when he takes a dive, now we're going to pull it and we're going to dip downfield. I tell them that, okay, we're working dip here. They know that that's coming. And some coaches having a hard time with that, hey, why are you telling your guys what the read's doing? I want to train them after rep of that happening. They feel that muscle memory and they feel it. And our quarterback had a tough time early in the year of, it can be redundant. Practice looks the same every single day. But, once we got deep into the playoffs, once we, made our playoff run in deep into the playoffs, I think it paid off of that repetition and that, being redundant. We trained his body and that's everybody. We train you. We don't want to trick you. We look at every front as might be a little bit different. We look at every front we could see every week. We're going to, throughout the week, any front that we could see up front, we're going to show our guys. Now, we do it a different way. We show our tackles. An example, we show our tackles, they veer a 4-eye, a 4, and a 5. Every week they're going to see that. Our guards are going to base a 1, a 2, and a 3, an inside technique, a head-up technique, and an outside technique. Now, we don't have to show every single front there is defensively in football. As long as we show them, anything that they could see, our center's going to see a head up to a shade. As long as we show them that throughout the week, being in the flex bone, being the triple option, you never know what you're going to get. They could be a four-front team, odd, even every week leading up to you, and they come out in an odd. You never know. There's so many different schemes, so many different ways defensively that you can scheme up to stop a triple option attack, and you never know what you're going to get going in. So we got to prepare our guys for whatever we could see. We want to make sure and put players in conflict, eliminate players by reading them. That's our option count. We identify who the dive guy is, who the pitch key is, and then who the force player is. And we want to eliminate them by reading them. You're going to see in some of these clips, some of these defenses are very fast, much bigger than us. And it really helped us. We could eliminate them by reading them. Whatever they did, we made them wrong. And that really helped us because we saw a bunch of really good football players this year. And, we can't go out and just run inside zone, outside zone. We can't, manhandle them and maul them up front, zone blocking them. We can't do that. So the way we counter that is we read them either on a dive or a pitch. And like I said, with the option count there, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. We identify 1 as the dive key. We identify 2 as the pitch man, and 3 as our force player, who our front side slot's going to block. Okay, let's get into some film. Where is that, coach? Click that to get to the film. Oh, that's right. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay, so early on in the game, we want to make sure we establish our RB back, our fullback, downhill run game. We've got to establish that first. We've got to get defenses looking at the B-back, looking at the mesh, looking at the exchange. For us to be successful, then everything else just kind of lays in place. Okay. And if you look here, I've got this play on this playlist. If you look at our right guard, we're going to ask him to base this guy. And once again, we faced a lot of defenses that were a lot bigger than us, a lot faster than us, a lot stronger than us. All we're doing is asking him to win for 1 to 2 seconds by his technique and by his fundamentals that we've taught him. Our right guard, Jacob Roach here, does a great job of that, playing low, shooting his hands, running his feet, getting that guy out of the way. You see our guys on the backside scooping. So the majority of the time with us on the backside, we're asking those guys just to scoop up. These guys will never make that play. We ask them to scoop up and get to the second level. And our centering backside guard do a great job there, getting to the next level, getting those guys cut off. We really look for, you can tell good base block by that head cocking back real quick. You get that quick cock back by that head. That guard's coming out low, shooting his hands, driving his feet, and finishing the block there. He did a great job of finishing blocks. Once he got inside on you, he was going to finish you. And this is this is early in the year. This is our fullback B-back that started the year. And you can tell he did a great job getting into that second level and striking the defense, getting north and south, being a dagger to the heart of that defense right there, finishing this run strong. Same thing here. So this ended up being a busted play. I mentioned earlier about running tracks. And our right tackle here, Dalton Sears, does a great job of, he doesn't know what's going on behind him. He doesn't know it's a busted play. We're asking him to veer underneath this guy. This linebacker is going to be gone. He's not phased. You see a lot of linemen when they get on a track or they're supposed to go to somebody If you give them a specific player to go to and that guy's not there, they just stop. And that's something that we have, that we drill and we make sure and pound into their head. You have a track. You don't stop just because nobody's there. You keep going downfield. And this play scores because of what he does. Gets up to the third level. Now he doesn't, he's not putting that guy on his back. It's not a devastating blow by any means, but because he veers underneath, that linebacker's gone. He's not phased. He keeps working up on his track, working vertical, getting to the second level. Springing our quarterback, allowing us to score here. Guess I should have done a better job on the back end showing our guys, but because it's busted play, and this is credit to Luke, our quarterback. There were a lot of plays this year where he just kind of, made something out of nothing. And this is one of those keys, but I really wanted to highlight the front side of our line. You can see here, once again, Jacob Roach here, really just clearing everything out. They get this little stem going on up front, think it's going to, mess us up, but because we've got rules and our guys up front know that's where they're going. He knows he's going to end up basing that guy. He gets a good wash down, clears everything out for us. Dalton, our right tackle, he veers underneath. That guy runs out. He doesn't worry about it. Backer clears. He knows the ball's coming right behind him. He just keeps working up to safety, not fazed by it. Another early game. Here's an example of us manipulating the defense, seeing what we get. Sometimes we get in a formation just to see, what the defense gives us, see if they rotate, see if they change anything to where we can get an advantage. We call this over. We've got both of our receivers on the line on the same side. He's going to be in a flex position 3 yards off of the tackle. I'm gonna go back and let you look at this. This is one of our tag plays off of our toss, our rocket toss. You'll notice our right tackle, Dalton Sears, again. We're going to ask him to, we're asking our receiver here, we're going to block number 2, okay, which is this backer just inside of him. And he's going to outside release outside of this and rip and run down the field to try and get a play side safety. Our play side slot's going to kick the fourth player that shows, and then our slot's going to duck underneath that block. For you wing T guys, it looks very similar to Buck. A lot of guys on staff, that looks a lot like Buck. And it does, because we got a kick and then we got a wrap. But we're asking our tackle here to run a track, get around that block. Let me go back. Computers fritzing out on me. See Dalton getting up to that second level. See receivers effort blocking down here. Slot's going to kick. Boom. Tackles up to safety. Then we're out the gate. That's one of our slots there. Let an explosive player be explosive. Get the ball into his hands. Get downfield. Same game. Wanting to get the downhill run game and physicality going. That's a big part of this offense. This is, some people call it the big six. This is our 6 play. This is going to be our belly play, where we'll have a play side guard, pull and kick play side. And we got our fullback, B-back getting in underneath that. You'll see, because this slot goes in motion, we're going to get these guys to come to fly out because of the success we've had on toss and the success that we've had pitching the ball to them on triple. Now, once again, we screw up an assignment. We don't get this play side interior guy blocked. We're supposed to scoop here, get to him. We don't. But because our B-back's, strong, physical with the football, he's able to get off that block, get downhill. You'll notice our lineman here, our center's ripping and running, getting up to the second level. Our tight end here is our sixth lineman. He's going to block down. He notices our tackles got him secured. You know, we want him to keep working up the field. We don't want to be satisfied with just making sure that block's secure. So with the success of our center ripping and running, our tight end, excuse me, once the center sees that our tight end has him secured, he doesn't, he's not satisfied with that block. So he turns his head forward down the field and goes and picks on a safety down the field. Solid play, knifing down the heart of the defense. Great run play, great downhill play for us. Belly was an excellent play. Once we had toss working, it gives toss action to that slot going in motion. Now we're downhill. Those guys running upfield. We kick, get underneath, knife the defense down the field. Once again, we have an over flex call. This is, establishing the fullback again. Okay, you see the work here by Jacob Roach again, our right tackle and right guard and right tackle. Our center ripping up. Our backside guard, Cooper Childers, scooping on the backside, getting up, playing with low pad level. These guys are excellent getting these guys out on the first level and getting to second level. That was something that we preached every single day, every single week. You guys have got to get to second level for us to be successful. On this play side, we have a double to that stack back to that backer, interior backer, and we're taking this guy who's outweighs us probably 30, 40 pounds. We're going to double him into that backer. It's hard for a linebacker to fill when he's got his own teammate, sitting in his lap. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted on a double. If we call a double, we wanted to make sure that we're putting that interior guy into the linebacker's lap. We did a great job here. You see Brock at B-back. We preach to those guys, you got to fall forward, yards after contact. We want to make sure that's a great stat for us, yards after contact. And you see right there, we're getting 5 and 6 yards after contact, keeping our feet going. We're double cover all the way through second level. He gets tackled at second level, so we're still double cover through that contact. Falling forward, gaining yards after contact. That's a great example of Desert football, this play right here. There's going to be another one here in a little bit. It's a great play. Once again, this is the first play of the game here against Mount Ida. Dive, our zone dive. You see kind of the washout here. Low pad level from our right guard in the hips, getting them moved. Backside guard scooping, ripping and running. Backside tackle, cutting guys down, cutting the backside defensive tackle down. Backside guard scooping up. And because they play with a fast pace, low to the ground, getting up to the second level, we know our B-back's going to be fast enough to get through the line of scrimmage, and get up into the second level and really dagger that defense and get into the heart of that defense. Another dive play, another zone dive play. Get a double here from our left guard, Cooper, and our center, Jarrett. They're going to get that underneath him, get the head cocked back. It's a great job from them. When you see that head cocked back, playing low, getting in the hips, driving, working. We have a technique on our dive, our play side tackle. It's called a power veer. We're going to go through this hip and get him turned to give time for our slot to get underneath him and get him blocked. While after you power veer, you're staying on your track, getting vertical to that backer. Chance, our left tackle here, does a great job. Once again, this guy's 170. This guy's probably, 190, 195, 200 pounds. But because he plays with a low pad level and gets into his interior, get him turned, gives our slot time to get to him. We get the interior backer blocked and gets our that defensive end sealed from our slot. And this is actually played, our fullback broke his collarbone. But, you know, we do a great job on the play side, getting everything cleared out, backside scooping up to that backer. Now we're at the third level and a hiccup, and they don't even know what's happening. Here's a great example of our receivers being selfless and really just working their absolute tails off. This is a senior here, wide receiver here. We're in our flex position. That's Braden Pickerel. He knows we're running toss. He does a great job getting out to number 2, sealing him off. This is great patience by our slot, also Ian Holloway, senior. Great patience, great run. This toss play was a good play for us, getting out on the edge. You see Lyman ripping and running, trying to get downfield. But I picked this play because you see the patience, you see the effort, the work ethic of Braden Pickerel right here. This receiver picks it outside shoulder and just runs his feet and keeps working. Ian sees that and gets out on the edge. Okay, here's our veer option. We're going to read this stand-up guy is number 1. He's going to be number 2, and the safety down the field is going to be number 3. We're going to read him on dive. We're going to read him on pitch, and number 3 is going to be blocked by this play side slot. Luke's rules as quarterback is if this guy's shoulders turn towards him, he's going to pull it. Same rules are here. If his shoulders are square to the line of scrimmage, he's going to give it. If his shoulders turn, he's going to pitch it. If his shoulders stay square, he's going to dip downfield and get north and south, and that's exactly what Luke does right here. Shoulders turn towards B-back. He pulls it. Shoulders stay square from that linebacker. He could play both. We're going to dip and get downfield. You see he does a great job here going and scoring. 60-yard run, 50, 60-yard run. And if you watch, this is a tag play right here from our slide up top. He's going to work straight ahead to the safety. You see him at the corner of the screen right there being very physical at the point of attack. And like Coach said, Ian, he's 5'6" on a good day and 140 on a good day soaking wet. But because he plays with extremely good effort and good technique, he's able to do things like that most people don't think a guy with that size can do. Let me look. I want to get to a play that we pitch and get out on a triple option. This is semifinals against Junction City. This is a big game for us. Hadn't beaten Junction City in our program history. And for these kids to get this win, this was a big momentum here. Here's our first offensive play against them. Dive, establishing the run. We want to make sure we get the fullback involved. Everything's clogged up play side. And you can tell defensively up front, these are some big dudes right here, way bigger than what we are. But because we come out low, we play hard, physical, getting to the second level, Jack's able to knife the defense and get into the heart for a big chunk play. So this is a game, Luke, our quarterback, 7 days out from a dislocated elbow, still pretty tender, but, you know, he's a warrior, and we want to make sure not limit us, but make sure and protect him. So technique-wise is a little bit different than what we want, but we want to make sure, and he wanted to go, so we want to make sure and give him that opportunity. So it's not technically, you know, fundamentally what we want, but it got the job done tonight. So once again, we're out of our tight end set. People schemed us up. Once we came to the tight end, we're going to run belly. So we taught him rules for a slot. And so his rule on this is to outside release to safety, number 3. So we're going to read him for dive, read him for pitch. We have a built-in rule that dictates whether Luke's going to pull automatically. We know pre-snap that he's going to pull it and pitch. And the defense gave us that. And so that's what you'll see here from Luke. He's going to pull, pitch, and we're out the gate there. You see linemen downfield. You see slots downfield. This is a good play for us. Last play, big toss play. So, you know, schematically, we don't do things, we don't block it the right way. This defensive end up front, we got to make sure and outside release our tackle. This guard here is going to long scoop, seal him off, and our tackle's eyes are inside for a linebacker to seal that off. He beats us. He fights face. The good thing about this play, it's almost like an outside zone. Our slot cuts up underneath, but I wanted to highlight this play because our tackles, that linebacker's not there, doesn't mean that we just stop and wonder where he's at. We look for other people. He gets a pretty devastating block downfield for us that springs Ian on this toss. And once again, Chance, our left tackle, he's 5'9", 170. But because he plays with low pad level, he's pretty strong, has good effort. For him to be able to have that devastating block on a guy that's 6 foot, 200 pounds, through technique, through effort, understanding that just because that guy beats me, fights face, I got to whip my head back around inside because I know Ian's coming. Catches a guy slipping on the backside. Ian makes a good cut on the safety at the second level, and we go score. Great night overall for Des Arc that night. But through our technique, through our fundamentals, this play was successful. That's all I got, guys. Appreciate your time. It's an honor speaking to you, to the coaches of the state. As a young coach growing up in this profession, I always look forward to the Hot Springs Clinic because I got to hear high school coaches from Arkansas speak. And it was always very neat for me to hear the coaches that were in the state title game and listen to them and learn from them. So it's an honor to be able to speak to you guys today. Thank you.
All right, guys, we appreciate, again, the opportunity from the ARFCA to be able to talk to you guys. Hopefully you got something out of it. My email, if you want to email me and talk about anything, talk ball, do whatever, is Paschal, PASCHALB @desarcschools.org. And Coach Smith, he'll be happy to talk to you. His email is Smith, SMITHN, @desarcschools.org. Be happy to talk ball anytime. And again, just to be clear, I believe that there's a lot of systems that can work with a lot of guys. It's not like we've cornered the market and figured out the way to win or anything like that, because we certainly haven't. But we feel like, with our kids and our situation, that this was the way to go for this year. So again, thankful for the opportunity and look forward to chatting with some of you guys about some ball later. We appreciate it.